When a hurricane hits, the damage and destruction can be massive. Areas left with power outages, which can last for days. People forced out of homes. Food supplies cut short. There are organizations that respond quickly when a natural disaster occurs. Their speed to aid can be the difference between life and death. Surviving a hurricane and the chaos it can leave behind heavily depends on how folks prepare long before tropical troubles threaten. Regardless of the level of readiness, to borrow from a familiar phrase, it takes a village to start the recovery process and bring a regional rebound to reality.
The fear that I felt that we were going to die is overpowering. It's really... And to see the devastation out there, and to see the people, and to see how sad everyone was, and how desperate. When the people saw the Red Cross coming or heard about the Red Cross being in town, you could see that there was some relief in their face. You could see that finally somebody's coming to help them.
Whether it's in the Northeast with Hurricane Sandy, or another ferocious storm lashing out at our region, a troop of individuals and organizations rushes in to assist in the aftermath.
We actually partner with a lot of the different agencies. Our number one partners are probably our government agencies, our emergency management.
The American Red Cross is a familiar player in storm response work. They are the organization most people know and hear about in a natural disaster situation, but the labor is shared in many ways.
We're part of the public safety complex here, so they're our next door neighbors, and we keep in contact with them almost on a daily basis about what's going on in the community, whether there's any weather-related issues or other events going on. In preparation for hurricane season, the partnerships increases and ramps up.
Much of the work is performed by people who give their time without expecting a monetary payback.
There would not be a Red Cross if there wasn't volunteers. They comprise 90% of our workforce. So volunteers are who we are. But if you get on a disaster relief operation, there's 50 or more different opportunities and ways that you can participate in it, whether you're doing sheltering, whether you're driving our emergency response vehicle and handing out meals, whether you're doing disaster assessment. There's just a whole lot of different opportunities.
There isn't a one-size-fits-all approach to immediate storm response, but these organizations do their best to adapt to any situation the tropical season may try to present.
We had the first annual Disaster Institute here at our chapter, and it was a region-wide institute. And what we did is we acted like it was a disaster relief operation. And so we utilized our partners. We utilized the Baptist Relief, Disaster Relief. They cooked all of our meals for us. Our National Guard, our staff and volunteers sheltered there.
With the help of organizations like the Red Cross, those in need have hope.
We needed that assistance. We needed that hope to come in, that light, to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Protecting your home in the event of a hurricane or severe weather is critical. The difference between being ready and not can cost you thousands of dollars. More important than money, if you're not prepared, it could cost lives. We went to the experts to get information on what you should do to protect your home. They say plywood is a great defense to cover up any openings your home has.
Once you get a break through glass from tree branches, water incoming, then your interior damage is as a normal rule, almost total.
Half an inch thickness of plywood can provide flexibility and sturdiness.
Ideally, on your average half-inch sheet of plywood, you're looking at roughly $26 or more for pressure-treated wood.
That $26 piece of wood could save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars in damages. A single sheet of plywood can protect up to 2 or even 3 windows. When you are trying to figure out what size of wood you'll need, experts say measure your windows twice. Then add a half an inch of room to all of its dimensions. And if you can't cut it yourself, ask your local hardware store to see if they can do it for you.
A house or home is a huge investment for most people, and you really need to protect it.
And after a storm hits, make sure you store the wood someplace safe for reuse or as a template to cut more plywood for future protection.
If the worst were to happen, the first thing people would want to know is, are you okay? And within the last few years, social media has become a powerful resource to update loved ones.
If there's one person who knows the power of the internet to notify their community, it's Dave Bujak, the emergency manager at Florida State University. He's seen social media evolve and be a point of reference for many when disaster strikes.
People want to know, how is my family, how are my friends, and they want to know now.
In the fall of 2014, Facebook released Safety Check. If you're near the point of impact of a disaster, like a hurricane, Facebook will notify you asking if you're okay. You can then tap the I'm Safe button, which will notify your Facebook community.
If nothing else, that helps reassure your family and friends that, okay, they're at least alive, they're safe, they have a plan.
And for those who think that this may only be a resource for kids to use, Bujak says otherwise.
Now, if you look at my demographics on Facebook, the 18 to 24 is my smallest box. The other demographics are in the older categories.
The fact that more and more people are on Facebook makes it a great tool to keep loved ones informed with a simple click of a button. This allows you to quickly move on and get back to the potential cleanup.
Up next, they say those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. As we continue, we'll take a look at our past to try and predict what could happen if a hurricane hit our area in the future.